Welcome back to the Manor. Julian McBain here, and we are back in with Entropia Universe. It's Merry Mayhem. Because mayhem's always merry. Okay, so that was just a little contrived, but you know what? I don't care. Got a couple topics to talk about tonight, but before we get started, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Manor. Please take a moment and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. Okay. And speaking of which, I noticed I lost one today, but 21 total subscribers in the last 28 days. Holy crap, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey that we have called the Manor. It is really nice to have you all here. Speaking of which, if you're watching this video and you enjoy my non-Entropia content, I would love some ideas as where to go next. Because I thought about Starfield, but the reviews it's been given... I mean, it is a Bethesda game, and overall, will I probably like it? Yeah, probably. It's a Bethesda game. But at the same time, it's a Bethesda game. Actually, I've been thinking about doing a replay of Cyberpunk 2077 with all of the patches, and just using it for shorts, like not doing a full, not doing like a second playthrough series, but cutting it into shorts, because like Far Cry, I have never done a game where I do all of the replays, the new game pluses, which I almost did for Armored Core, but I needed a change. And I wanted to actually get good at Armored Core, which is hard to do when you're only playing twice a week. And to be fair, over the course of the last couple of weeks, I have gotten substantially better at Armored Core. I blew through New Game Plus, and I'm on the final boss of New Game Plus Plus. Although, Phase 3 of that boss is frankly bullshit. But yeah, no, I'm looking to see what the next big game is. And I might do a retread of Cyberpunk 2077. I've tried doing a second playthrough of that, and I got stuck, but I think it was because it was just kind of unfocused. And the computer I was playing it on was my old one, and she was starting to feel her age. Still love old girl. Got her in the closet. She's still there. But yeah, she was definitely feeling her age. So I wouldn't mind some ideas if you want to drop a comment. Because I'm going to do the playthrough of Far Cry 5. I do Entropia Universe for these videos. I do play some Entropia Universe on the side. But I mean, EU doesn't really cut into shorts very well. And if I'm not going to do like full-on long-form videos of a series, being able to trim it into shorts is really what you need to be able to do. But I'll figure that out. If you have any ideas for me, drop them in the comments. Can't promise that's what I'll choose, but I would love some brainstorming ideas. So yeah. For those of you who are paying attention to the news or the weather, you'll be receiving this on Wednesday. I'm actually doing this on Monday. I'm safe. All my people are safe. For those of you who are paying attention to Vermont, yes, we are experiencing flooding again, but it's not as bad as last time. So I want you to know that all's quiet on the home front here. So there's the update, and I do want to talk about the changes I've made and some of the things in YouTube that I've started doing, and the absolute surprise I have at what these changes have done. Like, I never imagined being able to do shorts and having them be effective. More importantly, I never thought I would ever like doing shorts. And frankly speaking, being able to just collect footage and take out the best parts and post the best parts, I can put together a week's worth of shorts and like, well, you have to play the game and do your right. I'm going to play it anyway. What's the difference if I just turn the recorder on? But then having having the footage, and it takes, like, I just spent an hour tonight creating a week's worth of shorts because I do one a day. Like, and that's all it took. Well, no, that's not true, because I had a couple that I cut the other day, and that was probably another 15, 20 minutes. So, I mean, if you spend an hour and a half making a good chunk of your content for the week, that's not nothing. That's actually surprising to me. So, I really enjoy the fact that I'm able to do this. And the fact that I have a hobby that is long-term monetizable. I mean, let's be facing it. This is a side hustle. I don't make anything at it right now. I did when I had my Patreon back before I had to put it on ice for a while. And I really appreciate those of you who are my patrons. I really appreciate you. I've decided not to go the Patreon route this time, at least not for the time being. But I do want you to know, for those of you who are my patrons, even if it was for a couple of months, thank you so much. The fact that you are willing to support me and be able to feed this addiction that is Entropia Universe on YouTube, thank you. But having the ability to grind out this content and really enjoy doing it. When I embarked on this adventure back in 2017, was it 17? 18? I think it was 18. 2018 is when I produced my first videos. When I embarked on this adventure back in 2018, I never imagined. I figured it was going to be one of those things where I'll try it for a year, and if it works, it works, and if I can't make it, it flops, right? And I just kept doing more because I enjoy doing it. I don't care that I don't get paid. Would I like to get paid? Yeah, of course. Who wouldn't? But I don't care that I don't get paid. I mostly do it for fun. And I have a great audience, a community, and it's just fantastic. So it's been an adventure. I want to thank you all for being along for the ride. I really enjoy having you all here. And yeah, because that's what it's all about. Finding something that feeds your soul is important. And I learned that lesson very recently. I was introduced to someone through a mutual acquaintance. And we were talking. And she told me about what really fed her soul. Like the thing that she wants to do the most. And for me, I love my career, like my actual 9-to-5 career. It has its stresses, it has its annoyances. I had to deal with one of those today. But to a certain extent, it does feed my soul. But what is it that I can do? Like if I can come home after a rough night and still turn on the microphone and the OBS and hook it up to YouTube and live stream for an hour and a half, like that feeds my soul. And so I get it. Like, I totally get where she was coming from. And it was kind of an epiphany. Because I never imagined, like, when you talk to someone and you're talking to them about something that they're very passionate about, and their eyes just light up, right? And you can tell that all of it's just coming from right in the heart. That's a different kind of conversation. And I never imagined it's very hard to find people who can do that these days. And I think I'll be honest, I think that's kind of an indictment of our society today, that we have not been able to find ways to let people kind of do what their soul resonates with. Like, maybe it's not monetizable. Maybe they have to have a 9-to-5 job. That's fine. But to give them the opportunity to pursue that other goal, that other desire, that other passion. One of the things we learn as Masons is to learn to subdue our passions, which is fine. Like, you have to be able to subdue your passion to get the job done. But that doesn't mean we don't pursue the things that we love. It means that we understand the time and place where it's appropriate and where it's not. And it's the inappropriate and discordant passions that we really have to suppress. Like, unregulated use of controlled substances would definitely fall under that particular rubric. But it's one of those things where at what point do we stop living and just start existing? At what point do we have to draw the line and stop existing and really start living? It's hard, especially in today's world, because we've got this weird governance system that's semi-global and semi-national, and like the world leaders all kind of agree on what the world should look like, and the rest of us are like, well, why the hell is it we can't afford to live? And I'm not trying to be partisan or political with that statement. You all know my political leanings. I've only been very obvious about it this entire time. But, ooh, 1,000 points. Nice. But, like, what happened to us? Because life was really hard and people still managed to pursue what they were passionate about. But now, I don't see drive in people. Like, please, by all means, someone who actually understands what happened, like, and has an intelligent thing to say, not just some trolly thing or some partisan talking point. What happened? Like, what made it so that we're still working hard and we're just spinning our wheels so that we don't have any drive? Or the people who just refuse to work hard and they just accept the bare minimum. Like, I do not, and those people bug me the most. Like, why do you accept the bare minimum as being just what you get? Where is your passion? Where is your future? There are people in this world that I love that are like that, and it drives me crazy. People I went to school with. People that I would still hang out with, except I know for a fact you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend, or you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If the people you spend the most time with just kind of coast through life, you're going to find yourself just coasting through life. You know, as long as you can make ends meet, nothing else matters, and you know, you'll drink that case of beer or what have you, and just, you know, kind of fuddle through. Do I have rough years? You're damn right I have rough years. I've had a couple of them. You've been along for the ride. But does that mean I accept that that's just the way things are going to be from now on? Hell no. I mean, shit, this last year was a super rough year. I almost lost my job entirely. I mean, sure, I would have gotten a 14-week paid vacation out of the deal, but still, that's a rough transition. I went from having a 10-minute commute to a 65-minute commute. Depending on the day. Like, rough years, but I'm still driving forward. Like, I took a 10% pay cut, and another 10% goes into my gas tank now. But I'm pursuing something that I feel is worthwhile. I'm getting those registrations that make it so that I can get better. And I think that's worthwhile. So even though that life kind of kicked me in the balls a couple times this year, I'm going to take the good with the bad. And I'll be honest, this month the good got even better. So on the personal side, so you know what? Yeah. Overall, it was kind of a shit year. But December kind of redeemed the year for itself. And as long as there's always that possibility, you need to keep driving forward. Like, just, life comes at you fast. You have to be able to adapt. So what drives you? What drives you? There's a comment section. I'd love to see it. What makes you want to get up every morning and go into work? Or get up every morning and start your business and do your job? What is it you're passionate about? Because like, and this is my biggest worry, like, I have a 16-year-old, and I don't know what he's passionate about. And he doesn't really talk about what he's passionate about. He has his foci. And part of that might be from some of the issues that he deals with. And I've talked in the past about how my son does deal with some trauma. I'm not going to get into the details of it. Again, you can go find those videos. They're in the past. And how I've worked with him and he's worked with me and we figured this out. But I don't know what he's passionate about. You know, when I was his age, I was passionate about becoming a pilot so I could go into space. Learned later that piloting is kind of secondary to being a fucking engineer to go into space. Wish someone had told me that when I started. Because, yeah. For those of you who don't know, even the like the co-pilot of a shuttle, back when shuttles were the standard, yeah, they're all engineers. They're not old airline pilots. I mean, yeah, you'll get your occasional fighter pilot in there, but 99% of them are engineers with pilot's licenses. Considering all you need is a private IFR license to go into space now, kind of wish I could go and get it. But, you know, those things happen. But yeah, no, I don't understand. And it's worse now after COVID. And yeah, I know the economy is shit. Like, I'm an economist. I'm literally an economist. That's part of my job. I understand the economy is shit. What can we do to make it better? What can we do to change things? And yeah, we're working against things that we don't have a lot of control over, but there are steps that we can take on an individual level that if we all did these things, it would make the overall better. Of course, one of the things we could do is stop electing morons into office, although unfortunately the bulk of people running are morons. Again, that is a nonpartisan statement. I don't care which party is in control of the levers of government, they're all idiots. But I don't know, guys. I fear for our future. I fear for my son's future. I really want to see things work themselves out. And I just don't know where things are going. The world is in conflict. America is... I mean, arguably... No, not... We are very arguably, and this comes from people who are specialized in this field, of the field of conflict. We are very arguably in a cold civil war here in the U.S. So much so that they featured it in Star Trek. Okay? They featured it in Star Trek. Star Trek may not be the be-all and end-all, but when it comes to the direction that society is rolling, Star Trek has called it more often than not. Let's be facing it. Go back to the original series, look at the things they were dealing with then, and look at the changes that came about that were called out in Star Trek, the original series. And then look at the Next Generation and the shit we dealt with at that time period and the things that have changed since then. You can't tell me that they don't put the idea of a second civil war in Star Trek Strange New Worlds and it ain't something we're dealing with today. Like, that's canary. That is the canary in the coal mine, kids. So, my question is where do we go from here? Does this turn hot? God, I fucking hope not. The closest I've come to real battle is the military integrated laser engagement system engagement, where you're using actual M16s with blanks and laser designators to know if you've been hit or not. Which means I have had a gun pointed at me, watched it go pew, and had my little indicator tell me I'm dead. Now, that is not the same as being shot at with a live round. I'm not even going to put it on the same level. But it is different than being shot at with a paintball gun or an airsoft rifle, which I've done both. I don't want to see that in real life. I don't want to come close to seeing that in real life. Am I prepared for it? Yes. If I have to, will I saddle up? You're damn right I will. Do I want that to happen? No, that's the last thing I want to happen. Possible exception of nuclear exchange. I'll accept a civil war over nuclear exchange. Okay. I'll qualify that just a little bit. The current number of suns dropped on the Earth by any country is limited to 2 at the moment. In military use, not counting, like, testing and shit. Like, the number of suns dropped on actual people at this point is 2. I would be very happy if in 1,000 years the record on Earth for suns dropped on people was still 2. And frankly, after October 7th, we're very lucky the record is still 2. So yeah, I'm concerned. I'm worried. Does that mean I think that's where it's going to go? No, I have an optimism bias. I think that things will figure themselves out. But as my Sergeant Major used to say, plan for the worst and hope for the best. And so I'm going to encourage you to do the same. You know, make sure you have an extra few days of food. I'm not talking go like full-blown prep or whatever, but have a few extra days of food in your freezer, just in case. I mean, you could lose power. You get flooding. That's what we ended up dealing with twice this year. You could have riots. My sister and brother-in-law dealt with riots where they live. Like, they were sitting in their living room up at 9 o'clock at night with their firearms, worried that people were going to start trying to burn their house down. That's a thing that happened. It was a couple of years ago, but it's a thing that happened. You never know what's going to happen. So, all I'm saying is, to the best of your ability, within the law, and with an eye toward what you know you are capable of handling, just make sure you have what you need in case shit goes south. Whatever shit going south looks like. Hurricanes, blizzards, floods, riot, civil disturbance, civil war. I don't care what it is. And be ready to help your friends and family. Be ready to help your neighbors. Because when shit hits the fan, whether it's short-term like a blizzard or long-term like war, you're going to need them to survive. So, okay, I'll get off that depressing subject. Wasn't exactly where I thought this was going tonight, but hey, we went there. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, 1 subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. And as always, I really appreciate your support, and we will see you in the next one.